Thanks for waiting.
No
This
problem.
is crazy. I usually, gosh, man, 1 hour.
For you, don't worry about
No,
it.
that's too much. 1 hour is too much. So I apologize there. So the J2 went in okay. You know, fella, is it working?
Hurt like the dickens.
Oh, it did. Is it working okay?
Yeah, it's working fine. I've been using it, but
Okay, but you're still eating and drinking okay, right?
a little bit, yeah.
It's a little bit okay.
It's still depending on how big of a chunk I chew. I'm still struggling to get it down, but I have to drink. But it's got to be soft. Mashed potatoes, scrambled eggs.
Well, I mean, so on your PET scan, and I will show it to you, but these computers are not working properly today.
I'm taking your word for it.
So the area of the tumor, it still has avidity, meaning it's got brightness. It has brightness there. So that means to me that it potentially had limited reaction to chemoradiation. So, but the thing is that I don't have accurate pictures from before chemoradiation because he had the stent in place on the last PET scan.
Right.
And a stent can cause a lot of inflammation, and so I don't know what to compare to. I'm going to assume that if we had gotten the PET scan before that stent had gone, it would have been much brighter in that region. So I think hopefully there's been tumor response. But the thing about chemoradiation is that it keeps working. So you're 4 weeks out now from that last dose of radiation. If we were to repeat this PET scan, which we don't do, but if we did it in 8 weeks or 12 weeks, I bet you the brightness would be gone significantly. But our goal is to not
get rid of it.
Yeah, we don't want to wait that long. We want it out. Okay, so my plan
So
is...
tomorrow?
No, well, so the reason we don't do it like that is because radiation keeps working. We need to maximize its effect so that we can get good margins.
I understand that, but I'd like to kind of get it done over with,
I know. So typically I wait for, at around the 7 to 8 week mark after your last dose of radiation. I typically pretty standard wait until that 8 week mark.
Okay.
And so I was going to book you for 4 weeks from now. Okay. So I saw your blood work looks excellent. The PET scan is done. We know the tumor is there. I don't see any evidence anywhere else in your body. That's the other important part.
So during that 4 weeks, what's to stop it from metastasizing other places?
No, the chemoradiation. So the risk of it spreading after receiving full dose chemoradiation is lower. It's lower.
Okay.
It's not zero, but the whole reason we do this protocol is because we know that the risk of developing metastasis in this time period is acceptable.
Okay.
And it's not going to change if we rush to the operating room.
Okay.
And so that's the main thing. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you specifically about is the location of this tumor. All right. I have to remove enough esophagus to get the tumor out and have an adequate margin. Right?
Yes, sir.
I always check the margins in the operating room. Okay, to ensure that I don't have any obvious tumor where I resect your esophagus. If that margin is questionable or positive, I keep moving. I resect more and more and more and more. But let me show it to you. I resect more and more and more, and now look at where we're going. We're out of space, right? So there's always the possibility that I have to resect so much that then I have to make an incision on your neck. Okay? And I want to make you fully aware of that. That's a possibility in this situation, given where the PET scan shows the brightness. Okay, so in the operating room, and I'm going to go over the procedure with you in detail one more time here, right?
Yes.
With those pictures, but I'm going to show you why there's still a possibility that I might have to go into your neck here, and you have to be ready for that, and you have to be okay with me doing that. Okay, so let me draw out a picture for you here.
So what do you mean? So what, like I'll lose my voice?
No.
I'll have a trach?
No, none of that stuff. What it means is that. And I'll draw you a picture here. It means that I am going to make a new esophagus for you out of your stomach, right?
Right.
So that esophagus has to stretch, that new esophagus that I make has to either stretch from your abdomen,
to the middle of my
up
chest,
to here,
or all the way up.
So now you can see how if we are stretching that farther and farther and farther, there's more risk to that.
Snapping back?
Well, not that, but there's more risk to it because blood has to travel farther.
Right.
So it could leak up here.
Okay.
So I always try to resect just enough where I have a good margin, but so that I don't have to stress that.
Well, how big is the yellow area? I mean, on me.
On you, it goes right up into the region where I normally resect.
Really?
Yeah, and so
I didn't know it was that big.
So this bright area, if that's where I normally resect, I need to go a little bit more than that. So now we're already talking about pushing the conduit further and further. If I don't get adequate margins, I'm going to keep marching.
Okay.
All right. Is that?
Well, her dad had his whole one. He had the whole thing taken
Yeah, you
out.
got to take the whole thing. You know, if we can't, that's how it is. You know, if the margins aren't good enough, I got to take the whole thing out.
Yeah.
But we never remove the whole esophagus. You're always going to have a little bit left in your neck.
Right.
So that's not really feasible safely to resect.
So are you going to crack my rib cage then?
I do not your rib cage, but I make an incision in the right side of your chest, in between your ribs.
Okay.
So what's going to happen? And I'll
So
draw
how do
this
you
out for
get from there to up here? That's
Yeah,
so weird.
I'll show you here.
Okay.
So first of all, and this is why I always do this. The first time we met, we went over this, and I'm
Yeah.
going to go over it because this is very complicated here.
Okay.
So let's talk about this. Okay. This is your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is your esophagus here.
Mm-hmm.
Your neck is here. This is your chest here. And
Right.
This is your abdomen. Your lungs live here and here.
Mhm.
Okay. And now this is your abdomen right here. All right. Your tumor is lurking in this region here.
Okay.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do is first I make a series of small incisions in your abdomen.
Okay.
I go in and I need to first of all detach your stomach from your esophagus. So what I do is I go like this.
Okay.
Now your stomach is detached from your esophagus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've made a nice tube out of your stomach.
Okay.
This will be your new esophagus.
Okay.
And during the same time, I take important lymph nodes that live in the area.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'm done in your abdomen. There's no more I can do.
Okay.
What I do is I flip you onto your side, and I make an incision in between your ribs on the right side.
Okay.
Okay. I come in here. I ask the anesthesiologist to take this lung down. And we can control which lung is inflated because of the breathing tube.
Right.
This lung goes down, now I can see.
Okay.
Okay. Now what I will do is I will divide your esophagus here.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, but I have to divide somewhere first.
Right.
Okay. So now we have a free end here. I pull all of this out from your abdomen through your chest. I take it all out. And at the same time, I take important lymph nodes that live in this area.
Right.
Okay? I send this to the pathologist, and they preliminarily check, is this margin negative? Okay. If it is not, what I do is I take more.
Okay.
Check it again. If it is still positive, I take more.
Positive for cancer.
Cancer. Or pre-cancer.
Okay.
Yeah. I take more. But look, we're approaching your neck now.
Right.
I've hit a limit. If I cannot safely hook you up in your chest, I'll hook you up in your neck.
Okay.
And that's something this is a conversation I don't always have with everybody. But in you, I do, given the location of this tumor.
Okay.
Because normally I can be pretty confident that I'm going to hook you up in your chest. I don't need to go into the neck. But in you, I might have to.
Okay.
Okay, and this just increases the risk of surgery. A lot of important things live in your neck. The nerves that control your voice,
Mhm.
your thyroid, important blood vessels. All
Right.
these things have to, be mobilized.
Have you had to do that before?
Yeah.
So this surgery is obviously a major surgery,
This is
but
a
it's
major surgery.
routine, right?
This is routine surgery, but not going into the neck area. Yeah, I don't always have to do that.
So you've had to go to the neck, what, maybe 30, 40 times?
No. Going into the neck, by myself, have only done that once. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crap.
No, but that's a good thing. No, that's a good
So
thing.
if you have to go into my mouth
No,
or into my neck, do you
no.
call somebody and say, help?
No, I take care of it. But this is a good thing because it means that people in your shoes have been able to get adequate margins and still hook you up in the chest.
Okay.
Usually I can do that.
All right.
We have a lot of room to go in your chest. I'm talking about an extreme.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have to make me aware of everything,
Of
obviously.
everything, yeah, but the last thing I want to do is not tell you about it and then leave a positive margin here.
Right.
Right.
I understand that.
So, but the other thing about this is that some people do routinely do it in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do it every time in the neck.
Right.
I don't, because I don't want to stress the conduit. The more that we have to stretch this farther and farther away from your abdomen,
The bigger the chances it's separating.
well, not separating, but the chances of lack of wound healing and leaking.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I want to minimize that risk. Okay.
So when you put the sutures in, when you connect everything, I mean, you're like right next to each other pretty much, right?
Well, so the way that I connect these is with a stapler.
Oh,
We're talking about a technology that is far, far superior than suturing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then what I do is I don't trust machines. You know how we are. We don't trust anything. I still put sub sutures in.
Right. Okay.
I put
Just to be on the safe
I
side.
put belts and suspenders. That's what I
Okay.
do.
Hey, us fat guys know how that is.
So that's what happens. But going into the neck, I know that makes you nervous. I've done it once by myself, but this is how I trained.
But
So the number of esophagectomies that I trained with in the neck are substantial. We're talking double digits, like you're talking about.
I'm just really scared. I just really am a doc. I'm just really scared, and
rightfully so. I'm completely altering your anatomy.
I don't want to die on the table.
So I wouldn't take you to the operating room if I thought that was going to be a risk. The risks of this procedure are bleeding. I'm working near your heart and near some very large blood vessels. Okay, bleeding, infection. Where do you get an infection from? You can get pneumonia. You can get infections in your incisions. But the biggest thing here is that you'll get an infection. If this is not watertight and it leaks, you'll get an infection. And we'll have to deal with that.
And then I get sepsis.
If that happens, we'll have to control it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long are we talking after the surgery and everything's done? And let's say everything goes great, everything's successful, and it's bonus time. How long am I going to be in the hospital for after the surgery?
At minimum 1 week. Because we do nothing for the first 4 days in terms of changing.
So will I be asleep those days?
No, you're gonna be awake, walking, talking. I'm gonna slowly start getting your tube feeds going.
And I can cuss at you, right?
Yeah, you can, because it's gonna be uncomfortable.
I'm sure it is.
You're gonna have a tube in your nose.
She said something about the breathing's really important. Taking
Breathing
deep breaths.
Critical. Yeah, so you're gonna have a tube in your nose. You're gonna have 2 tubes in your chest. You're gonna have a catheter in your back for an epidural for pain control. You're gonna have a catheter in your bladder. And then you have your feeding tube.
Good night.
So for those.
Hey, it's Halloween.
Well, but for all of those days that you're in the hospital, deep breathing and coughing is critical to prevent pneumonia.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
They give you that little machine to blow in and stuff.
That's right, and that's every hour, 10 times an hour while you're awake. Yeah, deep breathing.
10 times an hour?
Yeah.
Oh crap.
And what limits deep breathing after this surgery? Pain. That's why will be doing, hopefully, excellent pain control with you, so that you can breathe without significant discomfort. There will be discomfort.
Dilaudid.
Well, so Dilaudid slows down your intestines. That's why we do the epidural.
Okay.
If we can put those medications.
Heroin.
Well, no. If we can put those directly into your back, it won't get into your blood.
Oh.
And then it won't slow things down.
Okay.
So faster.
So you're optimistic about this procedure then, right?
We have to be. You've already done the hard part. J-tube, nutrition, chemo, radiation, all these things are not easy. Now comes the most intense part, surgery. We have to. We have no other option.
Right.
We have options. You've gotten a full dose of chemo radiation, but, leaving tumor behind, I guarantee you there's still live tumor in there.
Right.
It's very rare to have a complete response.
So what we're
not
hoping
very rare, but
you're going to cut everything out.
Less than 10%.
So you're hoping that the tumor will completely, once you cut it out, I'm done.
No. So after we take it out, I give everything to the pathologist, and we see how much live tumor is still in there. Chemoradiation usually destroys a lot of it, but we need to see what is left behind. And then Dr. Sue will make a decision on whether you need more treatment.
Okay.
Immunotherapy.
He said something about probably needing immunotherapy after that surgery.
Most people do. It's very rare to have a full, completely dead tumor.
And what does immunotherapy do?
So, and he'll go over that with you. It's not chemotherapy. What it does is it uses your own immune system to target cancer cells, microscopic cancer cells that could be lurking somewhere.
Right. Okay.
Things that I can't see and things that chemoradiation can't treat.
Right. Okay. Yeah, there was a guy that was. Did you want to look at this real quick?
I'm gonna do a full exam on you before I set you free. But are you okay with this plan?
No, but I'm putting my life in your hands.
I know. Not much of a choice. I know.
I trust. Look at me, please. I trust you.
I know.
Implicitly.
I know.
I know you're going to do the best you can for me. You always have.
We'll get this tumor out. We got to get you back.
You saw me. You're the first one to see me. I saw you before I saw Dr. Sue.
So no worries. We're gonna.
All I've heard, you're one of the top 5.
Now, what we have to do.
I don't want to blow your ego out of the water, but you're one of the top 5.
So and we've talked about all this stuff. The abdominal portion usually gets done with a series of small incisions. Okay. If I feel anything unsafe is occurring, I'm making an open incision.
Okay.
This chest part, there are surgeons that do this with small incisions. I don't do it with small incisions. I do it open. This is too important for me.
Yep.
But if incisions size is something that's critical for you, there are other people that do it.
Nope.
To me, it doesn't make full sense through the small incisions because it's a lot of incisions to do it through small incisions. It adds up and it still hurts.
I'll sign whatever you need me to sign, doctor. You do whatever you need to do to get this done, okay? Large incisions, small incisions, bust open my chest, I don't care.
What our goal is to get the tumor out. Yep, you'll heal. Our biggest thing is get the tumor out so you can eat and drink again and so that we can take this feeding tube out.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. So
Okay.
everybody has weight loss after this procedure. Okay. Our goal is you're going to have weight loss.
10% maybe?
It can be up to that.
Okay.
But everybody has weight loss. We want to stabilize it. In you, I think we'll have less weight loss because we have a feeding tube in. I don't always have a feeding tube in place.
Well, and then the nutritionist said that the stuff I've got now, I can get other stuff that's got higher caloric.
Yep, if you need it.
Pump it up.
If you need it. But hopefully after surgery, you're eating, drinking okay, and we can just stop the tube feeds, hopefully.
Well, we'll see.
Right.
I've kind of gotten used to carrying Hitler around. So,
Well, let me examine you.
Yep. I taped it down because it keeps popping
Let's
out.
take a look. You did the right thing, though. The moment it falls out, you got to get somewhere so we can put it back in.
Yeah, it didn't feel good putting it back in, Doc. That really
I
hurt.
know.
You need me to untape this as well?
No, you should be okay. You can do that there.
But he didn't give me enough slack like you gave me here. Because usually when I tape this up, it's like that
Well,
tall.
let me see. Let me troubleshoot. Let me have you lean back.
Don't move it as much, please.
Have you had any issues with leakage there?
Just initially, yeah.
The normal.
No. Yeah, this is interesting.
This is interesting. What?
No,
It took forever to get the right one.
this looks right to me.
It is right. But the thing was, the first one they brought down had ridges on it and tubes, and so we just cut it off.
It didn't have a balloon either.
It didn't have a balloon, so he just shoved it in there temporarily because that was like a 3-hour mark.
Yeah, to keep it open.
So we shoved it in there, and I'm laying here like this, and she's got my arms like this, and I'm like, "Ugh," and my knee came up, and I elbowed him in the shoulder. I'm like, ouch! It was like somebody stepped on my testicles.
Any tube,
Sorry.
anything to keep this open, we'll put it in.
So then once he got that done, then he put this in, and he made sure that the right amount of water went into.
That's so good. Good. Well, let me have you come up here. Everything else checks out.
Yeah.
No, all this checks out. Let me have you sit up. I want to do a lymph node exam on your neck.
Okay.
I'll take a deep breath in. Good. All right, my friend, you come sit back down over here.
I'm fine. Here, honey.
So,
Can I get my bandage, please?
is it okay if I get this scheduled?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna bring my team in here. Let's find the 4-week mark. Let's get it done.
Okay.
All right.
You call me in the meantime. Any questions, concerns, after based on discussion?
So my pastor, and so where's the surgery take place at?
It takes us here in our main ORs.
And do the people waiting for the surgery? How long are we talking? Probably.
So usually this procedure takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours.
Okay.
And then longer, depending upon those margins I'm
Right.
talking about. Yeah, there's a waiting room, and I come out. We give you updates throughout the surgery, and then I come out and speak with the whole team, whoever you bring.
Okay.
Yeah. After we're done.
Well, it'd probably just be my wife, my pastor, and maybe my son-in-law. I don't know who else is planning on coming.
Nobody. We weren't planning to have a party.
No, if I die, you should.
Whoever's here, I'll give an update, and then if there's anybody you want me to call, no issue.
If she wants you to kill me on the table, make sure you get the check before the surgery.
That's
kidding.
a
We're
joke.
gonna keep you here forever.
I'll be fine. But again, I'll reiterate to you, whatever you have to do to be successful, to get it out, large incisions, small incisions, flip me over upside down, I don't care. Do it. All right. I am scared about it, but I'm nervous about it, but I trust you, and I trust the staff.
It's a major surgery. We're talking about cancer.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot, and it's not going to be easy. Okay. So mentally, it's a huge weight on you. It's going to be a lot of anxiety for the next 4 weeks leading up to surgery, and it's going to peak right before we go back.
Is there anything you can give me for anxiety?
So usually I don't treat anxiety. There are
Most
drugs
doctors
for
do.
it, but you talk about Ativan and stuff. It's out of my wheelhouse. Who's your primary care doctor?
Up.
Dr. Rob.
Dr. Rob,
Would Dr. Sue be able to?
anybody.
I see him tomorrow.
Anybody, you can ask him. The only thing is I don't usually treat anybody.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking. I don't know.
Do you have like a time frame when he'll be up, moving around, active, like being able to go back to work, being able to play at the park, things like that?
After surgery, what? 2
After
weeks?
surgery, 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
You can walk, you can go to the park, you can do anything, but I don't want any heavy lifting for 6 weeks after.
Well, I don't do heavy lifting. All I do is drive.
But even then, you got to get up and down into a truck. You got to
30 pounds is what they're saying. Minimum.
30. But the issue is not just that; it's the meal planning. If you expect to be able to get this feeding tube out, all of your time for that 6 weeks is going to be devoted to meal planning. We're talking about 6 meals in a day, small meals, and we're talking about potentially snacks in between. We're talking every 2 to 3 hours, something's got to be in your mouth. You can't do that spur of the moment. It's going to take the two of you and probably even some more help to figure out your meals, get them ready, prepared for the day, and then we have to react to how you do with those meals. Do you eat half of it? Do you eat a fourth of it? What do we do? Do we need to get some more tube feeds going? All of these things are going to take weeks to optimize. So, and then to throw in work on top of that, but I know you got to live in the real world. I'll work with you. I'll try to figure out, if you need to get back to work, I'll figure out a way to get it done.
I mean, because I can eat during the day. I do it anyway.
But the thing is that we talk about these things now, but
again, circumstances come up.
I have to ensure that this connection is watertight.
Understood.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So just, I know planning is important, but I can't give you any realistic time frame until I know everything looks good, and that's 4 days after surgery.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When I test it. We can do as much planning as we want, but
until we get to the actual
until we
situation,
do it, and I see what we're dealing with, and I see how you do with it, I can't. There's no point.
No, that's fine.
I think.
We'll
I know
cross
the
that
world-
bridge when we get to it.
I know.
There ain't no sense in worrying about it now because we haven't had the surgery yet. So
Right.
let's just get to the surgery and we'll go from there. All right.
Well, does it make sense then?
Yep.
All right.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you, doctor.
So get it scheduled. You call me. Anything that you guys need, you reach out to me.
So what are we doing
terms of
now?
it.
You got to bring your team in and
Yeah,
we'll
bring
talk.
the team in and we get it scheduled.
And let's do it.
Yeah, for the anxiety, I'll reach out to whoever you want.
Dr. Sue, I see him
if you
tomorrow.
see him tomorrow, see.
When I see him tomorrow, what time?
11, 15,
If
30.
you're not getting the response that you need to get it treated, you reach back to me, and
I'll
I'm
talk
more
to
than
Dr.
happy
Rob.
to figure out a way to treat it.
We'll
Right.
talk
I
to
can
Dr.
prescribe those drugs. It's just that I don't usually do it.
No, I don't blame you.
Right.
It's all right. I can find somebody to do it. Dr. Ropp or Dr. Sue. Dr. Ropp he'd do it.
And eventually, hopefully we get you off of all these medications, right?
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
So, all right, guys. We'll wait here one.